Sean Diddy Combs.
Sean P. Diddy Combs.
P. Diddy definitely everybody and did this and raped everyone.
I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters.
Puffy, you were the only one saying anything for decades.
Yeah, because we had our own little thing.
But you were the only, everybody else was scared.
8 celebrities.
Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah Winfrey has been tied to so many awful people.
I love Oprah, don't get me wrong, I think she's a wonderful woman.
Hollywood's glossy exterior is beginning to crumble, revealing secrets that could shake the entertainment industry to its core. The recent arrest of Sean Diddy Combs has set off a chain reaction of allegations.
Rap mogul Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in New York.
NBC News reports Combs was arrested tonight in the lobby of a hotel in New York City. This comes amid a wave of lawsuits against him,
drawing some of the biggest names in show business into the controversy. Prominent figures like Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, and Ellen DeGeneres are now being linked to a web of troubling accusations. As these claims continue to surface, they challenge the carefully maintained public personas of those involved and raise unsettling questions about what has been happening behind the scenes. Voices like Joe Rogan and 50 Cent have weighed in, highlighting Diddy's connections to other influential personalities.
Allegedly. Cameras all over the house and 100,000
bottles of baby oil.
Yeah.
The new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay. I go, oh shoot, like, then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing.
Allegations surrounding Oprah Winfrey have resurfaced, particularly those tied to past incidents at her South African Leadership Academy.
The Leadership Academy for Girls near Johannesburg in South Africa.
This has been one of the most devastating, if not the most devastating experience of my life.
As these old controversies are revisited in light of new claims, the extent of involvement across different circles is being called into question. This unfolding saga isn't just about individuals, it points to a deeper issue within an industry that may have allowed misconduct to persist unchecked. With each new revelation, Hollywood faces an unavoidable reckoning. How far do these accusations reach, and what consequences await those implicated? As the story develops, we'll dive into the facts and uncover the full scope of this escalating scandal. Meanwhile, Ellen DeGeneres, once one of Hollywood's most recognizable faces, is now facing mounting scrutiny in the wake of Diddy's arrest. Reports suggest that she and her wife, Portia de Rossi, have made a permanent move to the United Kingdom, distancing themselves from the unfolding controversy.
Ellen DeGeneres, who along with her partner Portia de Rossi has swapped the stars and stripes for the Union Jack. They've left behind their lavish California estates and relocated to England's posh countryside. The move was reportedly long planned.
This move has been accompanied by a significant shift in her public image, with observers noting her attempts to disappear from the public eye and potentially evade association with the unfolding scandal surrounding Diddy. Critics have pointed out that Ellen's actions, particularly her sudden departure, have raised questions about her intentions, her long-standing relationship with Diddy, and her involvement in the social circles that are now being examined closely.
So far back, you don't tell these people how far back we go.
I know, but I wear t-shirts. I don't know what that means. Anyway, all right, let's.
I mean,
you hold that.
Okay,
all right.
I keep this. Take two if the joke didn't work. I
okay.
I don't want no problems.
No, it's okay.
No, hold on. Hey, so cheers.
The timing of Ellen's relocation has not gone unnoticed. As one of Hollywood's most recognizable figures, Ellen's outspoken political views and criticism of high-profile leaders often positioned her as a moral compass in the entertainment industry. However, her alleged connections to Diddy, including hosting his infamous after-parties, have you...
Starting a party at like midnight. Like what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party, though.
Uh-huh.
No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, you know, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then no, I mean the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
These events, often described as exclusive gatherings for Hollywood elites, are reportedly linked to the culture of excess and alleged abuse that has become a focal point of the investigation surrounding Diddy. While Ellen has maintained her public persona of kindness and inclusivity, insiders and critics alike have raised questions about the sincerity of this image. The perceived dissonance between Ellen's public persona and her potential complicity in questionable social circles has led many to reconsider her legacy. Further complicating complicating matters is the fact that Ellen's departure appears to coincide with significant lifestyle changes. Reports indicate that she has not only left the United States but also altered her physical appearance, including changing her signature blonde hair to brunette. This move, interpreted by some as an attempt to blend into her new surroundings and avoid public scrutiny, has sparked further speculation about her motivations. While some supporters argue that her relocation and changes are merely coincidental, detractors see them as indicative of an effort to distance herself from the controversy engulfing Diddy and those associated with him. Ellen's case is not an isolated one. Oprah Winfrey, another Hollywood powerhouse, has faced similar criticism for her connections to individuals who have been implicated in serious crimes. Throughout her career, Oprah has been linked to high-profile figures such as Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and Diddy. These associations have drawn renewed attention in light of recent events. Allegations have resurfaced regarding Oprah's South African Leadership Academy, where reports of harassment of minors emerged in 2007 and 2009.
27-year-old matron was released on bail after being charged with the alleged abuse of 6 students, aged between 13 and 15, and one of 23. She emerged from the courthouse with a blanket over her head to find hordes of media waiting for her. Miss Winfrey says that although rigorous checks were carried out on staff at the school, with hindsight, they clearly didn't go far enough.
Critics argue that Oprah's proximity to individuals like Weinstein and Epstein during those same years raises questions about her judgment and complicity in perpetuating a culture of silence and abuse.
When something this major happens, when you have the fallout, 50 women coming forward, that it's a watershed moment. And what I do believe is actually happening is that, first of all, it's triggering a lot of unreleased pain, repressed anger, guilt, and suffering that a lot of women have had. I happened to be on set with several actresses the other day, and we were filming some things, and they were like, hadn't slept over a period of 2 or 3 days, and I was like, what is that?
What has particularly frustrated observers is Oprah's initial silence following Diddy's arrest. For months, she refrained from making any public statements, even as allegations against Diddy mounted and other high-profile figures began to face lawsuits and investigations. This perceived lack of accountability from someone as influential as Oprah has only fueled public skepticism. Oprah's critics have pointed to a recurring pattern in her behavior. She has been accused of associating with powerful individuals who later face serious allegations and then distancing herself from them once their misconduct becomes public. This cycle, they argue, undermines her credibility as a voice for social justice and accountability. In an attempt to address these criticisms, Oprah has spoken publicly about the broader cultural reckoning sparked by the allegations against Diddy and others. She framed the moment as an opportunity for systemic change, calling it a watershed moment for society. Oprah highlighted the trauma and suppressed anger that survivors of abuse have carried for years, emphasizing the importance of creating an environment where victims feel empowered to speak out. While her comments were praised by some, others viewed them as a deflection from her own proximity to individuals accused of abuse. Her failure to address the specific allegations tied to her Leadership Academy or her connections to figures like Diddy has left many questions unanswered. Ellen and Oprah's situations illustrate a broader issue within Hollywood and the entertainment industry at large. Both figures have cultivated public images rooted in philanthropy, inclusivity, and moral leadership. However, their associations with individuals like Diddy, coupled with their silence or delayed responses to serious allegations, have led to a reassessment of their roles within the system. Critics argue that their actions, or lack thereof, reflect a culture of complicity that prioritizes maintaining power and influence over addressing wrongdoing. The case against Diddy has served as a catalyst for this reassessment. Allegations of abuse, trafficking, and exploitation tied to his social circles have exposed a dark underbelly of Hollywood that many had long suspected but few had openly discussed. The arrest of Diddy and the subsequent investigations have revealed a network of complicity, where powerful individuals allegedly enabled and perpetuated a culture of abuse. Survivors have come forward with harrowing accounts, detailing instances of coercion, drugging, and assault. These stories have shed light on the systemic failures that allowed such behavior to persist unchecked for decades. As more names surface in connection to Diddy's legal troubles, the implications extend far beyond his individual actions. The investigations have implicated a wide range of figures, from entertainers to political leaders, highlighting the pervasive nature of the problem. Ellen's departure Oprah's silence and the broader exodus of celebrities from the United States reflect a collective reckoning within Hollywood. Observers have noted that these actions may be motivated not only by a desire to avoid scrutiny, but also by a recognition that the industry is undergoing a transformative moment. The ongoing revelations have underscored the importance of holding those in positions of power accountable. For survivors, the courage to come forward and share their stories represents a significant step toward justice. However, their path is fraught with challenges, including navigating the power dynamics and influence wielded by those they accuse. Legal representatives for survivors have emphasized the importance of corroborating allegations with evidence, such as medical records and police reports, to build strong cases against the accused. Ellen's and Oprah's cases also highlight the role of public perception in shaping narratives around accountability. Both figures have faced backlash not only for their alleged associations, but also for the ways in which they have responded to the allegations. Ellen's relocation and lifestyle changes have been interpreted as an attempt to evade accountability, while Oprah's framing of the moment as a broader societal reckoning has been criticized as deflecting from her personal involvement. These actions have sparked broader discussions about the responsibilities of public figures in addressing systemic abuse. The impact of these revelations extends beyond Hollywood, prompting wider societal conversations about power, privilege, and complicity. Observers have called for greater transparency and accountability across all industries, urging influential figures to use their platforms to support survivors and advocate for systemic change. The courage displayed by survivors in coming forward has inspired others to share their stories, creating a collective movement toward justice and reform. The allegations surrounding Sean Diddy Combs have brought to light disturbing accounts of abuse, coercion, and exploitation that allegedly permeated his social circles for years. These revelations have shocked both the entertainment industry and the public, exposing what many describe as a systemic culture of power and exploitation. Reports indicate that were subjected to trafficking and abuse within these circles, highlighting a horrifying network of individuals who either directly participated in or turned a blind eye to these actions. Survivors have begun to share their harrowing experiences, painting a picture of manipulation, exploitation, and betrayal by powerful figures who wielded their influence to silence their victims and escape accountability. The survivors' accounts detail deeply unsettling encounters, including being coerced into private spaces under false pretenses, drugged to impair their ability to resist, and subsequently subjected to abuse. These allegations suggest a pattern of behavior designed to take advantage of the most vulnerable individuals, with the abuse reportedly carried out in environments that appeared glamorous and exclusive on the surface. Parties and gatherings hosted by prominent figures served as the backdrop for these alleged crimes, where the victims were made to feel as though they were part of an elite circle, only to be exploited behind closed doors. These environments, often shielded by celebrity status and wealth, became havens for unchecked misconduct. As these accounts have surfaced, they have not only implicated Diddy, but also drawn attention to other prominent figures, including Jay-Z. Allegations against Jay-Z have emerged in connection with an incident that reportedly took place during an after-party for the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000. A lawsuit filed against him details accusations of rape and abuse, supported by witness testimonies and survivor narratives. According to these accounts, the minor was allegedly coerced into a private setting at the party where the abuse occurred. The survivor's testimony describes a traumatic series of events in which power dynamics and fear prevented them from speaking out at the time. These details provide a glimpse into the darker side of the entertainment industry, where such incidents have reportedly been normalized and hidden for decades. The lawsuit against Jay-Z represents a broader push for accountability within the industry. Survivors who were once silenced by fear and intimidation are now stepping forward, determined to share their stories and seek justice. Legal representatives have emphasized the importance of creating a safe environment for survivors to come forward, highlighting the need for corroborative evidence such as witness statements, medical records, and police reports to build strong cases against the accused. This process has been crucial in legitimizing the survivors' accounts and countering attempts to dismiss their claims as baseless. The allegations against Jay-Z have also prompted discussions about the complicity of others within these networks. Parties and events hosted by influential figures often involve numerous attendees, raising questions about who else may have been aware of or participated in the alleged misconduct. Witnesses have described environments where abuse was not only tolerated, but actively facilitated, with power and influence used to shield perpetrators from consequences. This complicity extends beyond the accused individuals to those who remain silent, enabling the cycle of abuse to continue unchecked. The revelations have underscored the systemic nature of the issue, where abuse is not limited to isolated incidents, but is embedded within the culture of the industry. Survivors' accounts suggest that these environments were carefully constructed to exploit vulnerabilities, with perpetrators leveraging their status and resources to maintain control over their victims. The use of drugs and coercion further exemplifies the calculated nature of the alleged abuse, as victims were rendered powerless to resist or recall the events clearly. The lawsuit involving Jay-Z has also brought attention to the psychological and emotional toll on survivors. Many of those affected have described the lasting impact of their experiences, including feelings of shame, fear, and isolation. These emotions were compounded by the power imbalance between them and their abusers, which made it nearly impossible for them to speak out at the time. The public response to these allegations has been one of shock and outrage, with calls for greater accountability and transparency within the entertainment industry. Advocates for survivors have emphasized the need for systemic change, urging industry leaders to address the culture that allowed these abuses to occur. This includes implementing measures to protect vulnerable individuals, holding perpetrators accountable, and dismantling the networks of complicity that have shielded them for so long. The revelations surrounding Diddy and Jay-Z have also sparked a broader conversation about the role of power and privilege in perpetuating abuse. Observers have noted that the celebrity status and wealth of those implicated have often served as barriers to accountability, allowing them to operate with impunity. This dynamic has created an environment where victims felt powerless to challenge their abusers, fearing retaliation or further harm. The ongoing lawsuits and investigations represent a critical step in challenging this status quo and creating a more equitable system. As the legal proceedings continue, the entertainment industry faces a moment of reckoning. The courage displayed by survivors in sharing their stories has inspired others to come forward, creating a collective movement toward justice and reform. The allegations against Diddy, Jay-Z, and others serve as a stark reminder of the need for vigilance and accountability, not only within Hollywood, but across all sectors where power and privilege intersect. Survivors describe a culture of silence and fear, where power dynamics and coercion deterred them from seeking justice. Legal representatives have emphasized the significance of bringing these cases to light, committing to due diligence to ensure accurate representation of events. The lawsuits filed against Diddy and others reflect a collective effort to expose the systemic abuse and to seek accountability for the victims. As the investigations continue, the involvement of other high-profile individuals has come under scrutiny. Claims against figures such as Jay-Z and Ellen DeGeneres highlight a pervasive issue, where complicity and silence enabled systemic abuse to thrive. Reports suggest the identities of those present at Diddy's parties are now under investigation by authorities, with names spanning political, entertainment, and business circles. This revelation has sparked discussions about the accountability of those in power and the influence wielded by such individuals. Survivors have provided chilling accounts that highlight the extent of the exploitation and abuse allegedly linked to Sean Diddy Combs and his social circles. These testimonies paint a picture of an environment where individuals were systematically manipulated and taken advantage of, underscoring the failures within the system that allowed such actions to continue unchecked for years. One survivor described being approached by Diddy's driver at an event and offered a ride to an exclusive after-party. What initially seemed like an opportunity to be part of a glamorous gathering quickly turned into a harrowing ordeal. Once isolated at the private event, the individual was coerced into situations they could neither consent to nor escape, leaving them traumatized by the experience. Another survivor shared an equally disturbing account of attending what was advertised as an elite social event. She described feeling honored to be included in such a high-profile gathering, only to find herself in a situation that spiraled out of her control. After accepting a drink, she began to feel unwell and disoriented, unable to comprehend her surroundings or make sense of the situation unfolding around her. She later recounted being unable to resist or recall events clearly, suggesting that her drink had been tampered with. In her impaired state, she was allegedly assaulted by multiple individuals at the gathering. These individuals took advantage of her vulnerability, further amplifying the trauma of the experience. These stories reveal a pattern of manipulation and control employed to target and exploit individuals in vulnerable situations. The survivors described how they were lured into these environments with promises of opportunity, social connection, or career advancement. Once isolated, they found themselves in circumstances where they were unable to protect themselves or seek help. The use of power and influence by those involved created an environment in which the victims felt they had no recourse, further perpetuating a cycle of silence and abuse. The courage displayed by these survivors in coming forward has been met with both support and skepticism. Legal teams representing the survivors have underscored the importance of corroborating these accounts with evidence, including medical records and police reports. The involvement of minors in some of these cases has heightened the urgency to address the allegations, emphasizing the need for thorough investigations to hold the perpetrators accountable. The ripple effects of these revelations have been felt beyond Hollywood, as discussions about accountability and systemic abuse gain traction. Observers have called for greater transparency in addressing these issues, urging influential figures to break their silence and support efforts to dismantle the networks of exploitation. The implications extend to broader societal conversations about power, privilege, and the responsibilities of those in positions of influence. As more survivors step forward, the scope of the investigations continues to expand. Legal representatives have indicated that additional lawsuits may be filed as new evidence emerges. The testimonies of survivors serve as a powerful reminder of the importance of advocacy and the need to challenge entrenched systems of abuse. By shining a light on these issues, survivors and their allies aim to dismantle the culture of silence that has long shielded perpetrators. The legal battles ahead will likely bring further revelations, as those implicated in the allegations face scrutiny. Survivors have called for justice, emphasizing the need for systemic change to prevent future instances of abuse. The courage of those speaking out has inspired others to share their stories, creating a collective movement toward accountability and reform. The unfolding events serve as a stark reminder of the challenges faced by survivors in seeking justice. The power dynamics at play have often deterred individuals from coming forward, highlighting the need for supportive structures to enable survivors to share their experiences safely. The revelations surrounding Diddy and his associates underscore the importance of addressing systemic issues within the entertainment industry and beyond. The allegations against Diddy and others represent a watershed moment for the entertainment industry. As survivors continue to share their stories, the call for accountability grows louder. The courage and resilience displayed by those affected serve as a testament to the power of advocacy and the pursuit of justice. The revelations serve as a wake-up call for society to confront the systemic issues that have long enabled abuse and to work toward a future where such actions are no longer tolerated. In this era of transparency and accountability, the voices of survivors serve as a powerful force for change. The stories emerging from these allegations highlight the need for vigilance and a commitment to addressing systemic issues. By shedding light on these injustices, survivors and their allies pave the way for a more equitable and just society. As the investigations into Diddy and his associates continue, the implications of these revelations are far-reaching. The courage of survivors in coming forward has challenged the status quo, demanding accountability from those in power. The unfolding events mark a turning point in the fight against systemic abuse, with the hope of creating a safer and more inclusive environment for all. The pursuit of justice for survivors remains a critical priority as society confronts the systemic issues that have enabled abuse to persist. The courage of those stepping forward serves as a catalyst for change, inspiring others to share their stories and demand accountability. The unfolding narrative highlights the importance of transparency and the need for systemic reform to prevent future instances of abuse. By addressing these issues head-on, society can move toward a more just and equitable future. With each revelation, the call for accountability grows stronger, urging those in positions of influence to take responsibility for their actions. The survivors' stories serve as a reminder of the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of standing up against injustice. As investigations continue, the pursuit of justice for survivors remains a beacon of hope, inspiring a collective effort to dismantle the systems of abuse and to create a safer, more equitable society for future generations.